Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City media podcast. Stepping up to the microphones are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Tigers Untapped, brought to you by Hoop City Basketball. They've been having summer camps all summer long. If you got a little boy or girl ages 5 to 14, get them signed up. Their next camp is coming up the week of July 31st through the 3rd. It'll be at Independent Presbyterian Church. They got skills, drills, contests, and games, expert instruction. You'll get a reversible jersey and a camp certificate. So get signed up. Go to bluffcitymedia.co/hoopcity, and you'll get $95 off your registration fee. Tej, you going to sign up for summer camp basketball?
I'm not sure I am young enough. I feel like I'm perhaps out of the age range.
I think you were using, if you haven't, it does. We look like we're in studio, but we're not tonight. And to be quite honest, we've kind of forgotten how to do this on our own. We've had our man Kenny behind the glass for the last 6 weeks, and it took TJ and I a couple trial runs to get this thing going tonight. But we are live from the virtual Bluff City Media Studio. Kenny is on vacation. Hopefully he's drinking a dockside with us right now. Tej, we're rocking with the Memphis-made Dockside Wheat Ale tonight.
Hold on, mine didn't open for some reason.
Are you prepping to shotgun over there? What are you doing?
No, my top broke. It didn't punch in the thing. So now
the tab broke off. Wow.
Yeah. So now I'm using an Allen wrench. A handy dandy Allen wrench over here to make magic happen.
Weak cans they got over there. Is that gonna take down your can rating?
It may play into it. I don't know. Probably mishandling.
Also surprised you didn't do the old college bite the top off. You're not into that?
That sounds awful. An idea.
Protect the teeth. I feel you. Well, Tej,
you see this right now?
Yeah, it looks great. Fits in with the studio.
It does. Got the nice color scheme going.
Tej, we had massive news last Thursday. I'm so glad Penny Hardaway is our coach. I'm so glad Penny Hardaway is our coach. Jahvon Quinerly, what we've been waiting for, finally made it official, committed to the University of Memphis Tigers on Thursday night. It was late, too. It was like 7:45 or something at night.
Yeah.
My God.
Just randomly came in.
Yeah, random, out of nowhere. Although if you're in the Discord, if you're not signed up, you would have known a couple of hours ahead of time that it was happening on Thursday. So we knew something was coming. We just didn't know exactly when, but it came, and it came nicely.
I mean, you say a couple hours early. I actually tweeted out, if you're in the Discord, you would have got this a couple hours early. But in reality, Hitman was telling us week at least.
It was end of June,
maybe 2 weeks,
1st of July, that we knew it was done. But a couple hours early we knew it was happening that day, Thursday. Yeah. But no, massive news. I mean, you got your point guard lined up right there next to Caleb Mills. Exactly what we've been talking about, moving kind of Caleb over to the 2. I mean, it's big. That's big.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
From a sausage perspective, I mean, we are cooking with sausage now. You're up to,
huge
I think it's
power.
I think with Quinerly, it makes you 37. But we'll say this: we've looked at it previously.
Mm-hmm.
You got one sausage link left to add, and we're going to the Natty. You add that DeAndre sausage, and I'm booking a room in Phoenix. I don't know how else to tell you. It's happening. One link is left, Tej.
Yeah, I think you and JT Pittner, you guys are calling for the Natty already. I'm probably not there, but a hell of a run. Absolutely. A hell of a run. 100%. Without question.
To note, don't know if you saw this, not long after he made it official, Mikey on his Instagram story posted a picture of him next to Quinerly and said, "Can't wait for this backcourt," or something to that effect, which also is very strange, not just in the fact that we've pretty much not guaranteed, but pretty much said, like, Mikey's probably not going to be here. You get your hearing pushed back to September after school starts, and now this is happening. I mean, I know you thought it. I thought that adding Quinerly pretty much solidified that Mikey wouldn't be here.
Yeah, so did the 40 people on Twitter that responded to that tweet. No one thought Mikey was coming. The moment you landed Quinerly, it's Mikey is, I don't want to say disposable, but like in a sense, he kind of was, right? I mean, we were very limited with point guards. You had Quinerly, who's an incredible point guard. You already have Jalen Young on roster. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't really know where Mikey fits in now. So Quinerly is definitely the projected starter. I would be shocked if somehow he did not start. Actually, that's not even a thought process.
There's no way that that's
without
happening.
Question, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you see
something
this?
tragic would have to happen? But the other weird part about that, TJ, was he didn't even include Caleb Mills in that. He just said excited about whatever, ready for this backcourt or whatever he said of just him and Quinerly. And it's like, what, did Caleb Mills fall off the face of the earth? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think there was anything like about that. I think it was just more so like, hey, we're the point guard type of situation.
Where the
part of me is, part of me is like, did Penny tell him to just like keep posting and act like you're gonna come, and we'll go from there? There's got to be something.
I don't think Penny told him anything.
This dude's off his rocker if he thinks he's still coming, or maybe we're insane. I don't know anymore. I got nothing.
Again, I would be absolutely shocked if Mikey Williams was here.
Sure.
Come basketball season.
I think that's the general.
But I guess crazier things have happened.
Yeah. Did you see this? Pseudo friend of the program, Evan Maya, has
Is it Maya or Mia?
I would have said Evan Maya.
That's what I've always said. I heard somebody say Mia today, but anyway, go with it as you will.
Evan Maya or Mia has the Tigers with the number 3 incoming transfer class, only behind Florida and Kansas, slightly above LSU, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss.
I seen that. Florida, I guess I haven't paid attention to who they've gotten, but that seems a little surprising to me. Also notable, I didn't hear you say West Virginia.
What do you mean?
I just feel like they had. I'm just saying, I was shocked that they're not up there. I feel like they've had a good transfer class.
They were slightly behind Ole Miss at number 7, actually.
Wow. Okay. So number 3 for the Tigs. And that is with what we've had. Is that 9? I think they've got it down as 9 transfers into the program so far.
Yeah. 9 in, 5 out. Right?
So yeah, but
9 in, 5 out.
I think that 5 out includes like Jamar Young
yeah, that's correct.
Does it?
Well, yeah, he's transferring out, is he not?
I mean, but yeah, he wasn't really a part of the team.
I mean,
whatever. But that is
got me curious.
Number 3 transfer class.
Looking at Florida.
I would be interested to see what old statistician Maya's got us ranked just overall outside of, a transfer class period. Because our boy John Rothstein put out, he updates it periodically as things change. Obviously, it's in the landscape of college basketball today, and the transfer portal and everything, it's fluid. He updated and included us in his Rothstein preseason top 45 from unranked all the way up with Quinerly to 30th, with the projected starting 5 of Quinerly, Mills, David Jones, Nick Jourdain at the 4, and Jordan Brown as center.
Okay.
With a disclaimer, I think that he's noted, he's obviously in tune with the DeAndre situation, saying that would likely make us a top 20-ish team. I know you saw the tweet because we both responded and said, Sausage Maker says top 10, John.
Yeah. John's a nice guy. He posts about Memphis quite often. I'm sticking with our boy at the sausage.
He's a nice guy, but I'll say this. Penny's like one of the only coaches, or Memphis period as a program, that doesn't get a little phrase, a little slog from old John, and it rubs me wrong. So John, if you're listening, and we know that you are, this is the year. Penny,
we need
Memphis basketball. We deserve that Rothstein slogan. Okay, continue, Teach.
Are we going to be on a t-shirt? Can Rothstein put us on a t-shirt? I need to know.
Like you and I, or Memphis basketball?
No, Memphis basketball. He always puts his little goofy sayings on a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we get one, we deserve a shirt. What would our saying be?
I don't know, man. I don't even know. There's a lot of options you could do.
Do you think it would be? Like, you think it would be Penny related, or it would be like Memphis basketball?
No, Penny related. You gotta, the marketing with Penny, it just makes things easier. You gotta go with the Penny.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be about Penny too.
So, all right, we have waiting on Williams. I guess is kind of where everybody is at now. You've got your point guard. Everyone's starting to slowly kind of show up. We'll talk about that in a second. But I mean, the difference with and without DeAndre Williams on this roster is kind of wild. I mean, he's coming in for his 5th year. Solid team without DeAndre. You get a little bit deeper the moment he comes on.
Right. I mean, by all means, I want DeAndre. I wanted him yesterday.
Sure.
And I said it earlier in the summer, I've never wanted to see DeAndre commit dumb fouls in a Memphis uniform more than I do right now. But I would be fine with where we're at right now, to be honest. With that starting 5, I mean, that's a team that is very capable of making a run at the NCAA tournament. Second weekend team.
Yeah.
With Quinerly, Brown, Jones, Mills, TFL off the bench, Jourdain, Pierre off the bench, Jaden off the bench. Like, I'd feel good about where we were at. Yeah, but obviously, I think DeAndre puts you over the top, puts you next level, like a true Final Four contender.
I definitely think you're closer to a Final Four contender with DeAndre than without DeAndre. But it's not like a huge gap by any means. Like they're definitely going into the second week with or without him, right? I mean, the potential at least. Now, how that works all out with timing and who's going to play how many minutes, who's going to get pissed, I have no clue. That is one thing that concerns me with DeAndre coming back, because there's a lot of mouths to feed. I could see.
Do you think we're already, even without DeAndre coming back, do you not feel like we're there a little bit right now? I mean, given you got David Jones, you got TFL Leonard, you got Jonathan Pierre, like, and that's not like, we haven't even talked about it yet, but there's been a little bit of run, not from us, but from outside. Different people have been talking about, like, does somebody like Leonard, who hasn't, by the way, made it to campus yet, does he make it to campus? Is there a little bit where he feels like he's gotten over recruited? You know, he turned down what I think it was a pretty decent offer from the NBL to come to Memphis. And I think his expectation is to be a starter. So is there any concern? Do you have any concern of somebody like Leonard potentially being like, hey, yo, this isn't really turning out how we kind of talked about it turning out. I'm out of here.
There's always a concern.
Is that NBL door still open?
Oh, the door is probably still open. I'm personally not that worried about it, right? I think that let's say you don't get DeAndre for whatever reason, you still have Quinerly, Mills, some combination of Jones and Leonard. I think it's smarter to probably start Leonard over Jourdain. I think Jourdain is a solid player. He sounds bad to say, but he's probably easier to hide on the list of starters, as opposed to putting him out there with the twos necessarily and expecting him to commit, to put up a lot of points. He's not really the offensive guy.
Some would say that was more of a result of the system that he was in at Temple, though.
Sure. I don't think
And
that you're
there have
asking him
been
to go out and score like that.
there have been some reports from what now granted, again, not everybody's there. I think they've been practicing with 6 or 7. But Jourdain, from all accounts that we've heard, has looked very impressive. Shooting the basketball as a leader, like he's looked good.
The one thing that I think Jourdain can do for you that a lot of people aren't thinking about is he can be your backup 5. Like we just did this with Chandler, right? And I think we saw that Chandler was completely serviceable as the backup 5, despite not actually being a center, just like DeAndre not actually being a center. We did pretty damn well with 2 guys not actually being centers, playing centers. So if Jourdain needs to play the backup 5, have Pierre at the 4, and then you figure out
let's
the
be
other
real,
spots,
like
it is what it is.
if you look at Brown's statistically, like he doesn't struggle with fouls at all. And I want to say, I'm looking at it right now. I want to say he played he averaged over 30 minutes a game. So it's not like you're asking somebody like Jourdain to go out there and play 15, 20 minutes at a 5 either. Like, yeah, Brown averaged 32 minutes a game in 33 games played last year. Like he's got that 5 spot pretty locked down. So I think it's very possible that somebody like Jourdain could slide in off the bench and have even a Pierre at a 4, or to your point, if you want to throw Leonard out there with Jones and Mills, like, but let's be real. It's what, middle of July 17th. We're talking about a starting 5. I mean, what, last year we maybe led the country in different starting lineups. Like everybody on this team at some point or another is probably going to start for one reason or another. So it's probably not like, we probably don't need to get too hung up on the starting 5, but it is fun to talk about.
Yeah, of course. And not that this is like the end all be all, but Leonard actually just followed the Bluff City Media Twitter. So that's got to mean something. You're not out here following people on Twitter if you're going to hit the portal, right?
There you go. That just happened. Breaking news.
Oh, yeah. I think it actually happened like a week ago, but yeah.
He's locked in then. He is locked in. We just need him on campus. Get up here. What are you waiting on?
You know what's funny? I know we were just talking about it. It's like hella early to talk about lineups and stuff like that, but there's a very good chance we get Carl Sharon Font in the 2 deep, or in Ashton in the 2 deep. It's just fun to kind of work in some of the freshmen.
That is, Carl is another guy that we've heard people that have been in practice, like especially in the defensive end, and we know how much Penny prioritizes defense, is just an absolute bulldog on that end of the floor. And if you're going to find
a lot of size too,
as a freshman, I mean, we've seen it with guys like Minot as a freshman, like as much as he did hustle wise offensively, like cutting to the basket and like, if you can hang in there defensively, you're as a freshman, I think you're going to get minutes on a Penny team for sure.
Definitely. And that, I am all for seeing some freshmen play. But that kind of leads me to one thing I wanted to talk about is the overwhelming number of people posting about the age of the Tiger basketball team.
It's getting out of hand. And it's not even just DeAndre. It happened twice today.
Yeah, was it Slater?
Slater tweeted it and said something about GTG, the Tigers are older than the Thunder, and posted the Thunder's roster, I think. And then Rothstein tweeted about it today too. His was more of a just like as a factual.
Sure.
Hey, as it stands with this potential starting lineup, I think it was the average age was 23.8 years or something.
Yeah.
Which is, it is old. But to your point, like, who cares? Age is just a number, baby.
Name one team that has won the national championship with 13 freshmen on the roster. It's never happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't act like the maturity and the experience doesn't matter and it's not beneficial. This is like the weirdest argument I think I've ever heard anyone ever make. I just don't know why it's such a topic.
Okay. I found the Rothstein tweet. It was, if the NCAA grants DeAndre Williams an additional year of eligibility, projected starting 5 is Quinerly, Mills, Jones, DeAndre, Jordan Brown, average age of 23.8 years on opening night. Now, that's not necessarily a negative way to say anything. I think he's just saying, like, factually, they're going to be an old team, which is true. But if you read other people's comments, it's a negative thing. Man, I mean, in today's world, like, this is the reality of it. You know, if you're not making the NBA, it makes more sense for guys to stick around at a program that's got NFL NIL benefits and make money playing in another year or two of college basketball than to go over to, I don't know, Lithuania and play over there.
Yeah, I wish there was a way that was like you could easily track the average age of a team or something, you know, like whatever people are doing, just like data mining all the other teams. Because I'm curious, there's got to be someone that's relatively close. What was it, 23.8? Yeah, 23.8.
Yeah.
Like one team is going to be 22, but like for some reason they're not getting the conversation. Like no one's reaching out to them. No one is saying the same thing about them. So, and maybe they are, and we just don't care.
I cannot wait for Ken Palm though to update if DeAndre is back in our D1 experience. I mean, we have got to be like, we'd have to be number one in the country in D1 experience.
Yeah.
Or close.
Oh, yeah. I think that's. I
think we were top 10, I want to say, last year in D1 experience. You'd be up there this year. I think.
We talked about it on last week's episode. It was like 30 some odd games experience, or I don't even remember exactly what the stat was, but the roster is so experienced, and that's again not a problem. It's not a bad thing.
No, it's a great thing.
Why it gets shunned upon. Like, if anything, the road to championships is usually led by experienced players. So
yeah, I think
whatever. Give me the old team. I don't care.
I think it comes from a place of fear of the opponents that stand in our way that are going to get demolished by these quote unquote old guys.
Yeah.
Like Calipari said, they're going to be a dangerous team, and not because somebody's going to get hurt physically, but they're going to be hurt emotionally looking at that scoreboard, Tej.
Let's hope so. You know who I want to I want to Tulane them, because that's a verb now. It's for a 40-point win. Tulane them.
An all 40-berg.
Yeah, I want to blow out FAU. Do you see these nerds on Twitter? Oh gosh,
why are they trying to make it a thing?
I don't know.
This isn't a thing.
I try not to respond to them because, like, I don't want them to feel.
I mean, before this year, they hadn't won a single NCAA tournament basketball game. They make one run to the Final Four, beating a 16 seed in the second round, and it's like, I mean, they should have been out round one or game one. They got lucky. Kendrick threw a bad pass, and then we weren't granted a timeout. Like, it's not a thing. We're not rivals. There's one game.
We gotta stop.
Speaking of Florida Atlantic, did you see the video that came out of their painting renovation? Was that really their home arena, Jim? It's not even an arena. You can't use that word. That is too strong of a noun for that. It's not. They're not an arena. That is. I mean,
100%. That is a high school gymnasium.
I mean, it could have been
like
MUS.
A good high school.
It could have been MUS for all I knew. I mean, there are arguably better gymnasiums in the city of Memphis at the high school level.
Oh, 100%.
Than where Florida Atlantic plays
Carville,
basketball.
Memphis, or Bartlett.
I mean, I would, if I were them,
had been renovated.
I would not be posting videos of that place publicly.
I'd be embarrassed. It had the freaking drop downs like at the Germantown Athletic Club.
Yeah, I mean, the Germantown Athletic Club may be nicer because you've got the upper deck where you can walk on the treadmill and watch the guys hoop. I mean, Florida Atlantic, that was something else.
Serious statement to anyone who's been to the Southwest gym. I think it's better than that FAU gym. I'm not even joking, because you had that like giant walk around. Like, I'm looking at the video again right now, and it is wild.
But hey, those beams up top that are painted red do look good.
I don't even understand the bragging right there, but whatever. We're doing exactly what I said not to do. Like,
I know.
Stop it. We got to stop.
We're giving them the time of day, Tej, and they don't deserve it. I guess we got to hate somebody with Houston leaving.
I would rather have a rivalry with Arkansas State than FAU. I'm not even joking. FAU is so irrelevant.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we will touch on a little football. With all the basketball going on, we've been behind the 8-ball on the Untamed 24. Got a little football, little conference realignment, and then we'll rate this dockside. So we'll see you on the other side.
Bluff City NIL is an official partner with Coaching for Literacy, a nonprofit organization using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. You can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or at Coaching for Literacy on social media platforms. Your donations to Bluff City NIL are 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together, so we thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause that is childhood literacy.
What's up? We're back. TJ, with all this basketball stuff going on, I mean, it is nonstop, 24/7, 365. We've been a little behind on the hashtag Untamed 24.
What do you want me to say? Sometimes basketball is life, and it takes a precedent. But to your point, 4 dudes to cover, right? Is that right? Did I miss?
We got 4 Untamed 24, and we got a portal edition for this year, right? Let's talk portal.
That is true.
Little Jalen Thomas, D tackle out of Grambling. What is 6'2", 280? But he started. We talked about this before we started. Teach.
Yeah.
It wasn't too long ago. He's a linebacker in what, 220, 230?
Yeah,
that guy's put on 60 pounds in 2 years.
I
you
literally
think you could do that.
I mean, yeah, if you
I'm talking
challenge me, yeah.
No, I'm talking 60 pounds, a good weight to play football.
No,
I'm not
absolutely
talking
not.
you just sit around and just eat, teach. This ain't no my 500-pound life.
Yeah, dude. You give me a CC's buffet a couple days a week, Taco Bell,
Gross.
Nachos Bel Grande. I could probably do it. It's not going to be good weight. But I had to check with multiple sources
To
because
confirm
in 2021 he was 220, and I'm like, okay, this guy is coming in. He's going to be a rush end, right? He's probably going to get up to 230, 240, kind of, 6'2", 240, kind of in that that Jalen Allen mold. And then Brian BMoss over at Rivals posted that he's 280, and I'm like, 280? He was just 220.
Have you gotten confirmation that he is 280?
Yes. He told Brian he is 280 pounds. So,
all right, straight from the horse's mouth, he is 280.
Yeah, slapping on super duper weight. I don't even get it. Like, I'm sitting here looking at Grambling's roster. He is D lineman, 6'2", 220 as a freshman. That is bananas to me. Whatever. Go for it, son.
Well, good to add a little bit more depth to that D line, though. As much as hopefully getting up to QB, you're throwing guys in and out of there. I don't think he probably won't be here till later in the summer, though, right? Or is this an immediate on
August?
August.
We're here in August. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe a little behind the curve. May not get a whole lot of run this year, but good added depth moving forward.
Sure.
All right. What about for this Untamed 24 class? We got 4 guys Tej, roll them off for me.
Sure. We'll start off with Kobe Williams, 6'6", 300 pounds.
Love that
It's a big boy.
Hashtag beef right there.
Hashtag beef. Currently the number 73 interior offensive lineman. This guy actually has a lot of really good offers. If you kind of look at it, you're looking at Tulane, whatever you think about that. It just kind of puts you on par with Memphis. Oregon, Mizzou, Houston. So you got a couple power offers in there. Oregon coming real wild. This is a Mississippi kid. So Oregon coming all the way from the Pacific Northwest. There's got to be something there. I think that was a surprise. I'm not sure how many people expected him to commit to Memphis. We're glad to have you, big fella. Come on aboard.
That's one I
Brady,
hope you hold on to.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Brady Cluse, 6'3", 185. Babyface Brady, as Trey and I like to call him.
Bro, we got to Brady. we got to get you a new picture on your recruiting profile, my man. Brady, if you guys have it, just go look out for Brady Cluse. My guy he's a young one. Hashtag Brady Babyface is not a lie by Teach.
Yeah, he's got it's just an old picture. It's just an old picture. Help my boy out. 6'3", 185, plays wide receiver. Also played some safety, but I imagine at 6'3", he's probably going to play wide receiver for us. Definitely a big catch radius. Not too much film out there on him, so it's kind of hard to kind of watch a lot of them. But from everything you see, definitely a big catch radius, solid hand. So I'm excited about that. Jalen Charles, I think we skipped over him. He is more like the Jalen Allen, 6'4", 220, Texas kid. I will be honest, I never heard of this guy. It has not even been on my radar, just popped up and committed one day. I love it because he's from Texas. I think it's an automatic win anytime you get anyone from Texas, and I think that kind of holds true today.
He doesn't have bad offers, Tej, if you looked at him. I mean, you got Navy out there, Cal, A-State, Army, Air Force. I mean, you got the service schools. You got a Cal out there. Not terrible. Power 5 offer. Tulsa on par. So,
I mean, some of these guys we will learn a little bit more about this year, but Towski Dove, Texas guy, Seth, Texas guy, Josh Ellison, who just came in from Oklahoma, or is it Oklahoma? Yeah, Oklahoma, Texas guy, Eric Hunter.
They play good ball down there in Texas.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, speaking of, you know what, Natalie and I started watching. We never watched it. Kind of embarrassed to say this, but what series we started watching the other day?
Justified.
No, Texas high school football. That's where this was coming from.
I didn't know where you're going from it, dude. I was thinking out Wild West.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, baby.
Can't lose, dude. It's
Friday
an incredible
Night
show.
Lights. It's very
Incredible
good.
show.
But it's Tim Riggins reminds me a lot of you, Teach.
Because we have long hair.
Yeah, it's just the hair. I mean, that's all that it is.
Let me know.
And the fullback capabilities. I think you could get down and be a lead blocker.
That's probably true. There's an important question coming up, but you're probably not there yet. I need to know who your quarterback is. Just when you get to it, let me know.
I'm only in the first season. Right now my only option is Matt Saracen.
Okay, well, you're going to be put in a rough spot.
Because Jason Street is paralyzed and Voodoo Williams just went back home. So, and I'm all in on Saracen.
You're gonna be that. That's how we all are.
He's a good kid.
Don't worry, Vince is coming and he's gonna mess with you. So,
all right,
tough choice. Anyway, James Rex wrote 6'4", 230 tight end out of Missouri, not highly ranked. I'll be honest, Missouri not the best high school football state. Kind of hard to really grade out what you have there. His only offers are Memphis and Missouri State. So not the best of offers, but 6'4", 230 is good size. We've added a lot of beef basically at the tight end position as of late. This guy looks more like a receiving tight end, so kind of balances out what you're working with. He is the 84th overall tight end, but it is very, very early. I think we'll probably see him pan out into the mid 70s. That's just kind of where we typically our sweet spot for tight end. That's where Arrington McCray was. That was Anthony Lanfear coming out of high school. It's just that sweet spot for the Tigers. And I think that is it. Have we touched on everybody? Yeah, that's all four.
That is all. And if you haven't, head over to bluffcitymedia.co. We got Blake Mayfield. He'll be, if you need to read any more about any of these recruits, what to expect, where they're rated, that kind of thing, Blake's got you covered. He's breaking down all the commits as they come in. So head over there. Teach, on the other side of the football front, the coaching side, CBS Sports released their 2023 college football hot seat rankings. They do this every year, rate the job security of all 133 Division I coaches. Our boy Ryan, they've got a numbered rating scale 0 to 5. 0 means untouchable, so that would be your Saban of the world. 5 is win or be fired, and in between there are, varying degrees of safe, secure. You need to show some improvement. Our boy Ryan was a 1 last year, which to me is very surprising. Safe and secure. I'd have put him at a 2, which is all good for now. Dennis Dodd has got our boy as a 3 this season, which means pressure is mounting. You in agreement with that? Because I think the pressure's mounted. It is saddled up and riding along. I want to say a 4 or even a 5. 4 is start improving now. 5 is win or be fired. I think you're sitting at probably a 4.5, to be honest.
Yeah,
if we're being honest.
4.25, honestly. Like it is. How much more do you want? How much more time do you want? You're recruiting better than any coach ever has. The schedule is relatively favorable in the grand scheme of things. And you have the talented quarterback. Like I don't understand where things could fall off the wagon here.
The pressure is mounting. It's there. So like not even having it start improving now, to me, that means you could maybe win. They're saying like a 7-win season is still okay. And I don't know that given the schedule and where you're at, like, I don't know that that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, that 2020 season, 8 wins, you're like, okay, not exactly the year we want after the Cotton Bowl, but like it was a weird year. You only had like 5 practices. I get it, whatever.
You went 28 days without playing a game. You had a party bus fiasco. Not bad.
It was the problem is that they followed it up with the 6-6 year, and you're like, okay, the hell was that? And you're like, all right, whatever. You'll bounce.
Which we gave the benefit of a doubt, given some injuries that happened along the front line. You had some ball security issues, which fall back on the coach, but hey,
those 2 fumbles literally swung 2 games. So it could have been another 8-win season, whatever. And then there was last year. It was a 7-win season.
You can't be falling up 6-6 with 6-6.
Yeah, it ended up being a 7-win season with the bowl victory, but it was just more of the same. We can all talk about the Houston loss over and over and over and over again. It felt so much like, not even like.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Well, I was going to say it felt like the UTSA game before, but not even, because it wasn't even like you were up 1,000,000 points on UTSA. It was just,
you were up 21-0.
Sure, but you could see that one slowly coming back. This all happened in the 4th quarter.
I mean, you blinked, and it was
unfathomable. So
unreal.
It was just more of the same, right? And as someone who is a little bit more lenient with Ryan, like for me, it's a 4.75, like as close to 5 as
that
you
is
can
shocking.
Get. Like,
Tiger Ted will be glad to hear that. 4.75 from you.
I just don't know how much time you need, and I think Ryan knows that. And
he
at
this point,
himself,
you've had the time you needed. It's do or die this year. Like I can't it cannot be another mediocre season.
Yeah, like, and I think he knows that too.
Yeah, I think everybody around knows it, and I think the team expects to compete for a conference title, and I would say that is the goal. Like that should be where we're at.
Sure.
Come November, we should be 1-2 in the conference, looking to go to a conference title game.
So let me get this from you. If we don't make the conference championship game for whatever reason, there's totally a path for that to occur. Maybe a loss to Tulane. UTSA also, it's some weird situation where the Tigers end up third, but they are an 8 or a 9-win team. We don't expect Ryan to get fired, right?
Yeah,
He's back.
You could talk me in to being okay with 9. I would be fine with 9. Because again, some weird things could happen. Somebody could get hurt. You could play a game without Seth again and lose, whatever.
Sure.
8, and I'm still like, your schedule has gotten significantly easier. Your toughest games are at home for the most part, with the exception of like at Missouri, which doesn't account into the American standings. So like, it's 9 or more. Like even at 8, I'd be ready to, let's get some new blood in here.
Well, I got bad news for you. The guy could probably win 7 games, and he's still not going to.
I hate hearing that because, like, I just don't get what the benefit. Of that. Like, the buyout drops to $1 million. Like, what is that? We can't. Like, let's just get it over with. Get out of here.
I would generally agree. I think it just come down to the point that you're still Memphis football. Like you're not to the point where you can fire 7-win coaches. This isn't Georgia.
You say that in a negative
on Mark
tone, TJ. You're
I
just
say it
Memphis
in the sense,
football. Don't put that on a shirt.
My point
that's
was,
worse
you're
than
not
the age.
Georgia with Mark Richt.
Worse than the basketball team's
like,
age, TJ.
We're tired of winning 9 and 10 games a year, so we're gonna fire you. Right? You're not that guy, pal. I just think it is wild to fire a winning coach, and I just don't think that they would do it unless it was a situation where like you won 7 games, but you lost to Bethune-Cookman. You got embarrassed by Missouri. You got blown out by Tulane and Boise, and these teams that you are seen as on par with. Like in that instance, yes, you're gonna have to make a change. And at 7 wins, I don't see them doing it.
Gosh, I want nothing more.
If you win 6, if it's only 6, you got it. It's just what are you talking about? Like you've got to
stop. If we get halfway through the year and we're 4-4, just call it. I'm not doing it again. This has got to. We need it. This has got to be a great year. Make a run. Get the fan base invigorated again. It's got to I want nothing more than for this staff to be successful. I'm not going to be able to.
Sure.
I'm not going to be able to do this show, TJ, throughout the fall if we are the most mediocre team in America again. I'm not going to be able to do it.
Look, I get it. I said if I was in charge, I probably would have pulled the plug last year, right? You've got a new coach, in theory, heading into
half the teams we play have
roster
football coaches. It's just you can't win 6 games. It just can't happen.
I think that's kind of why they brought him back, right? You're bringing in against a schedule without your hardest opponents. You have Charlotte with the new coach, USF new coach, North Texas.
You got Tulane
coach,
and
UAB,
SMU at home.
New coach. It's such a favorable thing. You are from everything that's out there. The athletic department really likes Ryan as a guy. Everyone likes him as a guy. You just can't let that jade you, in a sense. So I personally would have made the decision, and I am a Ryan fan. I think he's a very nice guy. I do think he could probably turn it around in that. I mean, at least 8-9 wins this year. We'll see what ends up happening. And I don't know. Let me ask you this. If Ryan goes on to win 9 games this year, how many years does that buy him? Can he win 7 the year after, or do you fire him at that point? Is he forever on the hot seat?
If Seth comes back for a senior year, no, you can't win 7 after that. You win 9 this year and Seth comes back, you better win 9 or more again.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. Especially the way you're recruiting, right? And then bringing
Yeah.
in these transfers.
I don't think you can win 9 and then take a step back. It's got to be on par or better. You got to continue to improve. Like, yeah. I think the only thing that buys him multiple years would be Ellie joining the show. For those of you at home, this is our cat that never comes out ever. And that may be the first time TJ's ever seen her, and TJ has been in my house a million times. I think the only way that a season buys him multiple years is if it's like a 2019 season. I'm saying you go 12-1, make an NY6, have a damn good showing, and then you probably get 2. Especially if Seth left, like after that, you're bringing in a new quarterback. You have some guys turnover next year. You win 7-8, you're probably fine. But you win 9 this year, you got to win 9 or more next year.
It's funny you mentioned that. Like, I do think that it's wild how much a New Year's Six bowl game and a conference championship will mean. So, like, let's say Memphis makes the run this year, and if you beat Boise and you win the American, there's a damn good chance you're going to make the New Year's Six bowl. Like, I just don't know who else is going to be in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, you would have beaten Boise. Probably. I guess it could be whatever out of the Mountain West. But if you beat, if you beat Boise and they win the Mountain West and you win the American, it's going to be you. Like,
exactly. Like we just saw it with Tulane, right? They were 31 wins in 7 years under Willie Fritz, and that's a coach that a lot of people look up to. They think he's very talented, but 31 wins in 7 years is absurd. And now he's forever safe there, I guess. I mean, he could have 2 shitty years back to back, and I still think he's probably safe, right?
I mean, he had that before he won the Cotton Bowl, and he was safe. So yeah,
and maybe we shouldn't compare Tulane football to Memphis football, but Tulane's been good before. Memphis has been good before, so I don't know why all of a sudden.
I mean, it's been a damn long time since Tulane's been good, but
yeah, I think what we said 98 was the last time they won a conference championship.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
Back in Conference USA. Yep, 98.
So all that to say, Ryan could go on, win the conference championship this year, next year, whenever it is. You basically get a window, an extra year or 2 out of it. I mean, the clock starts ticking, like I'd say pretty heavily at this point, right?
Yeah. As win or go home, man.
No, that's a 5. It's a 4.75 on our end.
Okay, so that's what.
Start improving now or be fired.
Start improving now and win more than you have previously.
Look competitive. Like, there's so many games where we just haven't really looked competitive. Focus. What's going on?
I mean, I feel like we've been in a lot of games. It's not like we get blown out week in and week out. We just shoot ourselves in the foot over and over again.
Yeah. What are you gonna do, man?
All right. TJ's favorite topic time, a little conference realignment talk. TJ, the Big 12 Media Days was last week, and your Mark was all over the place talking. He was asked about potentially adding like a bridge school or a partner for BYU out west, and essentially TJ, he shot that down. So I know he said previously the coast to coast, adding a 4th time zone. He's talked about teams being intentional, which we felt like was a shot at the Pac-12 teams that are kind of standing at the doorway waiting. Does that change kind of your thoughts or what you're thinking may happen, that he's effectively said on the board right now, there is nothing. Let's see what the quote was. Nothing on the Western front in terms of potential expansion. There's nothing there on the board right now.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I've always thought it was going to be Colorado, Arizona. I think those are the schools that have been talking about it the most. They've been flirting with it the most. Colorado seems unanimously as an option. It's really is Arizona going to bite? Are they going to have to pull in another team? Like, is there a dark horse in this whole conversation that perhaps we're not talking about? Someone in the pack that's like, you know what, I want out of here. This is trash. Please get me out of here. Like this Gliakov has not given any type of vote of confidence to anyone in that conference at this point. So I could see another team making the jump. I'm still going to stick with Arizona and Colorado. But he did kind of say some things that I think you were the one that sent it to me that kind of made it seem like there was some hope out there for Memphis, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's said a couple of things. We talked about him last week. You had that the check boxes, around cultural fit, brand, intentional, wanting to be a part. So we'll see. The other side, the other coast of this, a team that's been mentioned a lot today, the New Haven Register came out and said that U.S. Senator Chris Murphy made a statement to UConn and asked them to stay in the Big East. That's where they belong. He went to law school at UConn. Do you think that UConn listens to U.S. Senator Chris Murphy's pleads to not join the Big 12?
I mean,
and does that change? Does that give Memphis hope from a basketball side? If their UConn basketball queen isn't going to come, is Memphis the next option?
I mean, I think if you're UConn and you have a real shot to go to the Big 12, like, I don't know what the Big East Conference, what they're paying out in basketball, but isn't their football independent?
Yeah.
Like, how much money are you making off any games? Like, it just financially, it makes dramatically more sense to go to the Big 12 if they want you to join. I don't care what a senator is telling me. Like, was it going to stop donating money for some odd reason?
Maybe.
Because I'm going to a better conference? Like, that's fine. Unless he's donating $12 million or some arbitrary, extremely large number. I don't think it really matters. Right.
It feels like the coast to coast is dead.
Yeah.
For now.
Yormark has said some wild stuff.
He has said everything under the sun. I don't even know what to believe anymore.
Yeah. So another thing he said about realignment. So this all happened on like the 12th or 13th. It was in between our two recordings, so we couldn't fully talk about it on the last episode. But it didn't really point us in either direction. So he said, we have a plan for expansion. I'm not really going to address it today. Hopefully we can execute that plan sooner rather than later. And then he later said, talking about non-Power 5 teams, if they create value and align good with our values and goals, that's a conversation worth having. And so it's like, oh, okay, where are we going with this? Like, are you interested in a Power 5 or not? Like, is it going to be Colorado and Memphis? Like,
it sounds like he's open to anything. Sure. I wouldn't hate Colorado and Memphis.
No, of course we want to hate it because we're Memphis, right? But you have to think of it like there's totally a scenario where Arizona's caught up in their feelings. Like, hey, we've always been a Pac-12 team. So, like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't know if we're ready to leave. My girl, Arizona State, is not confident she wants to leave.
We're going to stay and party a little longer.
Exactly. They just want to hang out in the sun and just hang and party with Gronk. Forks up. Whatever happens out there in Arizona.
Forks up, stay in the Pac-12.
Yeah, so bear down in the Pac-12, whatever. I can totally see a scenario where Colorado and then Memphis. I don't think it's likely just due to the fact that seems like you really have to have Arizona being foolish, but here's to hoping, right?
Yeah. He also mentioned last week during those media days that they are definitely looking to stay at least at 14, but he is a believer in strength in numbers. So if there are 2 added, say come the fall, I don't think by any means that means that they're done. I think that's just another wave in the multiple waves that are coming.
Sure. And what worries me when you start talking about adding 4 teams, I guess, total to that is you would think more teams is going to equate to a higher chance for Memphis. And like mathematically, that's probably true. But also, I mean, it's definitely true. It worries me because I think that that Washington and Oregon are completely options out there. Like I'm sure the Big Ten would rather have Oregon and Washington to kind of pair alongside UCLA and USC, but you know, it's going to get into a situation where it's just like who's going to steal who from whom, and then it gets into a wild world. And hopefully, Memphis is already
at
a
the
part
end of
it.
the day, when all of the rumble settles from conference realignment. TJ, are you of the belief that there will be 4 mega conferences, or do you think it will be 2, the Big Ten, the SEC, and then everyone else?
What do you mean by mega conference? Because that may change my answer.
I'm just saying 4 that have like 30 teams apiece. Or do you think it's going to be 2 where it's the SEC and the Big Ten and they have 20 to 25 apiece and everybody else is on their own?
Yeah, I think that's the general idea, is that the SEC and the Big Ten are just going to keep building and kind of, build out their own ridiculous roster of teams, and they're going to start going to networks and saying, "Hey, just talk to us too." And that I've talked about this before. Like, there's totally a chance for those 2 conferences just say, "I don't need to be a part of the NCAA. Like, we'll just be our own super college football
Governing
network."
body. Yeah,
exactly. Like they just become their own thing, and then you have this situation where everyone else is kind of left out into the middle of nowhere. And it sounds wild. It's almost like a dystopian college football future type of situation, but I could totally see it.
Yeah, I can't
imagine.
wait to look back at this in like 5-6 years and see what we were talking about and what ended up happening and where Memphis falls in all of it.
If I said name the top 15 brands in college football, I'm just throwing out a random number. You're going to tell me pretty much half the teams, more than half the teams in the SEC and more than half the teams in the Big Ten. And then you're going to get to like maybe some Big 12 kind of sprinkled in there. And maybe depending on where Oregon, I guess some ACC, just kind of depends on where everything is. Like Florida State's a hot name. Where are they going to fall?
Yeah.
It's wild, Norvell. Man. Shout out to Norvell. Thanks for that
game. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, that's next year. I'm real excited. Might have to make that a beach trip and then journey on over to old Tallahassee.
Ooh.
It'll be interesting to see where we end up. I think by the fall, we should have some knowledge of what's going on. Hopefully, your Mark said it. They've got a plan and they hope to execute it sooner rather than later. So here's to hoping Memphis is a part of that plan.
Amen.
All right, Tej, let's jump into this dockside. I finished it like 20 minutes ago. It's good. I've had it before. It's a great summer beer, a wheat ale. We got 5.5 on the alcohol content. It's a great summer brew. It is what it says. You sitting on the dock of the bay drinking a dockside, that's a night worth it living, watching the sun set or rise. Whenever I'm not going to judge whenever you drink your brews. We know what it is. It's Memphis made. It's like all their others.
Real per usual.
I'm going 6.5 on the can. I do like the color scheme of it, though. I like the light blue with the red in there. It looks good.
Definitely a good color scheme. I don't really understand how that plays along with dockside, but whatever. I'm going to say it's like a 5.5 can. We've just talked about these cans.
They're all the same.
I don't know. I mean, it's all trash. Trash is a strong word.
They're all the same.
They're not good. I have also had dockside before, and it's delicious. This beer never lets me down.
Such a good beer.
Scale high, very high.
I'm going 8.1 on it, Tej.
That's super fair.
This wasn't even that cold because we took so long to get started, and it was still enjoyable.
8.1 is good. I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm thinking like 7.9 because there's maybe a little bit of maltiness that's kind of in my mouth.
That's basically the same.
I agree. I just don't want to be a copycat. I like this beer a lot. Like, you know what? I get into conversations with a lot of people. We'll talk about breweries, and everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, that's strong. 99% of people will say Memphis Made is their least favorite brewery in Memphis. And I always rebuttal with, have you had Dockside? Because this is one that stands out to me. I think this one's really good. And I think it could maybe not say face, but like.
Are they coming from a perspective of it's their least favorite because they have to have a least favorite, or they just like truly don't like it?
I think it's a little bit of both, because when you ask people about Memphis,
Somebody's got to be last.
Well, yeah, someone always has to be.
Is it a bunch of people that have only ever had Andy's Mint? Is that what is happening?
Oh, that could definitely deter you away.
That might be it. Yeah, that needs to be a follow-up question. Is what beer have you tried that sent you over the edge?
So I think what happens is you say Memphis Made, people say, oh yeah, Fireside, that's really good in the fall. And that's where it ends, right? They don't I don't know if anyone's had any other Fireside or any other Memphis Made beer.
Get to both sides. You got the Fireside and then the Dock. You just need two sides.
We need to
TJ.
Give them some love. I'm gonna email them about these damn cans.
Where's your beer bracket? Where are we?
We're still waiting on Ghost River. It's coming soon.
My goodness.
I'm gonna try to have it wrapped up by the end of the month.
Ghost River, get with it. We need TJ's beer bracket.
End of the month. Give me to the end of the month, guys. End of the month.
All right, TJ. I can't wait to be back in studio with you next week. You guys tune in.
We're in studio. What do you mean?
The real live studio with Kenny G on the 1s and 2s. Subscribe. Use TJ and Trey as your code. You get 10% off. Get over to bluffcitymedia.co. Check out On the Bluff, the Anthony Saint Show, all the Grizzly Bear Blue stuff. Summer League just wrapped up. Shout out to Ballsack Sports sponsored athlete Imani Bates, who won the Summer League title tonight. So shout out there, former Tiger. We'll see you next week. Come with a cold beer, stay for that takes.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.